Hello and welcome back. My name is DDubble. You could just call me Dell, and this is PPL. We are here. This is kind of a post-match thoughts, analysis, interview. Today I am joined by our two wonderful competitors. First off, we have the List of Scizors, Lars.
Hola guys and girls, El Scizor here, sharing some thoughts about the game.
And then we have classic Mountaih.
That's right. Thank you for having me. Happy to be at the post-game press conference.
Awesome, guys. Well, to kind of get things started, I got to watch both your guys' videos, and I had a really fun time, specifically in the start of it. Now, Lars, you did a football pitch, and Mountaih, you did some really cool Pokemon cards, and I'm just wondering kind of like how you guys came to, come up with those creative ideas to really share your sets and things like that, and whoever wants to start, feel free to have the floor.
I mean, yeah, I can go right away. Basically with I did the PBA before, the PPL was my first new league this gen. I thought, okay, we have a new gen, we have a new cycle of leagues, let's do something different. And a long time, I just joined the league, took it really serious, did very competitive most of the time, tried to win. I mean, I'm still doing that, of course, but it was very, I guess people called it informative, but it was very dry as well, the kind of style of video I did. So I wanted to change it up for a new gen. I did go with the whole theme that I'm an actual coach, the Pokemon I draft are actual players, kind of treat them like that, stuff like that. And in that league, I did the team builder in like kind of a locker room style as well, me facing the mons in front of me. But that one feedback I got that I didn't have like a whiteboard, for example, like that, I have now, where I can show like the opposing team, the EVs and stuff like that. And yeah, that's how I arrived at the style I'm at the moment. Next league, it might change once again, but I'm still, like I said, trying to go in that direction.
Nice. And how about for you, Mountaih? How did you come up with the idea of doing Pokemon cards for your little team builder to start off the battles there?
It's actually a relatively new thing for me too, because I never used to record my EVs or what they do until I joined a showdown league called DPL, and it's a team tour, and so there's other people who like want to know what your sets are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I felt like I needed to explain. So I was like, I better write this shit down. And then I found it would help me in the games because I'd remember what things did. And so I started doing that for Wi-Fi. And then I was like, might as well display this for people who are interested because I like that stuff. I like watching that stuff as well.
100%.
And I don't remember how I came to the idea of Pokemon cards. I was probably just like looking for a fun way to display the Mons, and the reason I got into Pokemon when I was a kid was through the cards. So for me, it like hits a little nostalgia point, and figured it might be a nice way to, just display those EVs.
Nice. Well, I love it. I love the creativity. I love that, Draft is getting more and more creative with actual content behind it too, not just like trying to go out and win every single battle, which obviously everybody tries to, but it's fun to put on that show at the same time. It's the entertainment aspect of things, and it's kind of, what makes Pokemon at the end of the day. Bouncing off of the team building aspects of everything, team preview, I'll start with Mountaih on this one. Was there anything on Lars's side that you were surprised either didn't come or you really didn't want to face when you did see it? Like anything major threat-wise that you were surprised didn't show up to try to beat you in the battle?
Can I take a moment to look at his team
100%,
again?
yeah. Feel free to take a peek at the matchup.
I
actually
did
don't.
not just sneakily open up your Pokepaste while you were talking. I would never do that. I, of course, had it all remembered already.
Yes.
Speak from them.
Yeah.
Very prepared in this situation.
100% here. Okay, let's go over Lars's team. At this point, he did not have Azelf or Frostlass, so let's keep that in mind. And yeah, I was a bit worried about Rillaboom. I thought like a banded set could go off against me. I didn't really have good switch-ins with what I brought. But at the same time, like maybe not the best bring into my full roster, so I understood that. And then I forget, who did you drop, Lars?
I dropped Espafra for Azelf and Glaceon for Frostlass.
Right. I thought Espathra might come just because it's Espathra. That's the only reason I brought Tyranitar, really. But I wasn't too concerned about it since it couldn't Terra. And otherwise, yeah, it was basically what I was expecting. I figured Dondozo would be there for Cetitan. I maybe underestimated it and got bailed a little bit with my play, but yeah.
We'll get into that later. Don't worry.
Sure.
We'll get into that later. How about for you, Lars? Was there anything that Mountaih kind of left on the bench that you thought was going to come and be kind of a problem for you with the build that you brought?
At team preview, there were really no real surprises. Like there are some other mons which had utility versus me, but there are some mons which had to come, like the Kilowattrel, the Tyranitar had to come for Spafra. I mean, I didn't bring a Spafra, but if without Tyranitar, there would have been a big problem. And yeah, the sets, some sets, they surprised me more than the actual mons. Like I was expecting these mons, but with different sets. So yeah, that's where the surprise factor came in. But at team preview, I was feeling confident that the team I brought would be doing good versus that.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I love like the both perspectives of it. Kind of like everybody thinks about the utility that their opponent could bring, but at the end of the day, you really just have to play what's in front of you at that moment. You can prep, you can mock, you can do as much stuff as you want in preparation for these games. But at the end of the day, if you can't beat what's in front of you, there's not a whole lot more you can do about it. With the opening of the match, kind of like those first 10 turns, how are we feeling? In terms of recognizing like win conditions and things like that, did you think you were positioning yourself well? And did you see openings that you could like get yourself into later in the game, kind of like how you could sequence out the game? Did you see any of that early on, or was that more of a mid-game thing for you guys? And I'll start with Lars on this one.
Okay, so yeah, if you like people who saw me in my team builder, locker room, whatever thing, know that my planned win con at least was the Florges set with Terra Ground, Core Mind. Could go very easily, very well with the team because after a few Core Mind boosts, I expected a lot of his physical threats to be special to hit stuff like Dondozo and Corviknight, like in Garchomp, for example. Garchomp, of course, I was expecting like max special attack, Life Orb shenanigans there. And so these things obviously don't break a core-minded up Florges. And yeah, basically its only fairy resist is weak to ground, so it seemed like a no-brainer to sweep with that. I needed to gamble that the Breloom was adamant for that to work. I mean, I could have sped crept for more, but I need, of course, still some physical bulk, so I was willing to go with that because adamant just made the most sense for me to get the maximum damage, of course, and like I said, do you really speed creep for Florges, which is mainly a defensive mon? So that's why what I was thinking. Of course, it ended up being Scarfed, so it was still adamant, but still faster. Yeah. I think it was still adamant, but it was still faster. So the plan didn't work out. So at the early turns, I was trying to go for this Florges win, which I thought I could go very early with because after Tyranitar got weakened, the team did seem very, very prepared for like a Core Mind after Florges with a few Core Minds.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mountaih, coming back to you with especially with that Florges, with how aggressive Lars was playing it early game, did you really see it as an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that you had the Scarf Breloom sitting in the back to deal with it, and you also had the Terra Water Kilowattrel, which was a major piece in helping deal with that Florges as well?
I fully expected the set that he brought, and the reason, like pretty much the sole reason I brought Scarf Breloom just to guarantee outspeed Florges, because I figured you would outspeed a Jolly Breloom with that set. And so I was having a mock build, and I was like, no problem, I'll just go to Breloom and I'll bullet seed his ass, And then I got outsped, and I was like, oh my god, Breloom is slower than Florges naturally. I actually have to be Scarf in order to not lose to this mon. So that was the thinking there. And then I figured that Spore was just a safe mid-ground in case you did go Talonflame, which you could have, was definitely an option. So that was the reason for that play, where I spored instead of attacked.
Yeah, 100%. No, it makes sense. It's very interesting to see like kind of how the battle can develop so quickly, especially if one person has this idea, and then like you said, Mountaih, you faced it in a mock and you had the perfect read on it. So no matter how prepared you can be in these situations, if your opponent is 2-3 steps ahead, you can often have those oh man, like he caught me moments in the game and have to completely change your entire sequencing and what your plan is for the late game to try to win it. Going back to Kilowattrel and sequencing and things like that, there was a wonderful kind of exchange where Dondozo was across from Kilowattrel, and I think it was at like right around like 78, 75%, somewhere in that range. And Mountaih, you stayed in with the Kilowattrel and you air slashed, and I don't believe you Terra'd, if I'm correct.
No, I
And
did
yeah,
not.
exactly. So no Terra, and I was really interested as to kind of the thought process both sides as to what you kind of had going through your head for that turn. And I'll start with Mountaih for this one because I was really interested that you didn't Terra that turn, and I wasn't sure if you were hard calling him like earthquaking on something, and you being like,
No.
or what the plan was with it, because it was a really funny turn to watch. It ended up
It-
not mattering with the flinch, but you know.
Yeah. No, I straight up got bailed. I was like, well, he's probably not going to stay in against Kilowattrel, so air slash seems safe. And then there's the flinch chance and whatever. And then right after I did that, I was like, wait, if he avalanched there, I probably just lost the game. So I think I acknowledged in the video, I'm like, I might have just got bailed. Yeah, no, I got very lucky there.
Oh, fair enough. And Lars, similar question. Thoughts on your side when you didn't see the Kilowattrel Terra and he ended up like staying in and just air slashing you?
I was super happy when that happened. When I saw that he just stayed in and clicked air slash, I was like, oh, nice. Kilowatt just died. No, awesome. Great. Huge threat versus my team. That's why I switched Dondozo into the Kilowatt because my floor just didn't Terra yet, so I didn't have a really good switch into that. And I was saying, okay, he didn't bring the Titan, Dondozo, you can go in whatever you die, and then go from there. Then he ended up not dying, still being out of range of Thunderbolt. Okay. Most likely he will switch out of there, that gets a bunch of damage on me, but that means Avalanche still hits his team for the most damage. I just click Avalanche, then he clicked Air Slash. It's like, whoa, wait a moment. He just dies, and then Sammy died.
Yeah. No, it was a really funny turn to kind of watch play out because, you know, that's one of those turns where it's like, uh-oh. As a viewer especially, you can see it going totally wrong. And you could see one side, like watching Lars' side, you could see it being like, oh man, this is the ideal situation. Like nothing could have went better here with no Terra. And then everything completely changes just based off that 30% chance. So I thought that was a really funny turn. And if you haven't watched the video yet, I highly recommend going to check out both sides because it was a very good commentary from both of you. I thought it was really insightful and kind of very fun to watch. It was a very easy watch, especially for how long the battle was, all things considering. Coming down to the end of it, now this one is just going to be for you, Lars, and then I'll go back to you, Mountaih, with one. But this one's for you, Lars. The hard calls late game with the Corviknight versus the Kilowattrel and the Pawmot sitting in the back. You know, viewers at home, I know a lot of us play Draft League, and we often have these moments when we're even just on the ladder or something like that, or just playing against your friend, where it feels like you can't get a turn wrong. What was going through your head in kind of deciding each turn as to the risk management behind it? You know, because if you lost the Corviknight there, that could have been detrimental to winning the game.
Yeah, at that point, I have to be honest. My video just didn't corrupt. I had a spy on Mountaih's side, and I wasn't calling with him. Like he told me what Mountaih was going to click, and he just texted me real quick, and then I just could decide what I want to do. And that just helped tremendously, of course, in trying to pick what Mountaih's not going to do. So just gonna put out all the stops. It was in the rulebook. It was not forbidden. Like you can't ghost, but it didn't say that I can't ghost my opponent. So I just took advantage of that, and it's paid off big time.
No, it was super fun to watch. Obviously, Mountaih, I can imagine the frustration. I know you kept it pretty inside on video, but if it was me on the other end of that, I might have thrown my controller across the room. So I'll give you big props for not, just giving up at that point because you did play it out. You came really close to the end with the Kilowattrel, and I honestly, for a split second there, thought you had it. Did you think the Kilowattrel was going to be that big a piece in the battle? Like, were you surprised at how well it performed overall?
No, I just thought it had a great matchup, which is why I kept wishing it back up, and maybe I prioritized it a bit too much. There was like a moment where I could have gotten Garchomp really healthy, for example, but I chose Kilowattrel instead. I just figured at that point in the game it could clean up if I just got like one of the 50-50s right. So but no, like on paper it had a great matchup, so I was fully expecting it to do well. I didn't think it would do like 4 kills well.
Yeah,
but
that's
like ideal. But
well, it's always nice when your Terra captain can really show up and actually perform at that level, because at the end of the day, that's what the beauty of having these low tier Terras is these Pokemon that don't often get a chance to shine. Pardon me, have that opportunity to pull out a 4-kill game and really take over matchups and things like that.
Yeah.
As we kind of wrap up the video here, Mountaih, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think you could do differently going back outside of course, getting a 50-50 coin flip, right here or there? What do you think you could do differently in terms of prep or just during the battle? And how do you think this battle loss is going to help you, build going forward in the season? What can you take from it as like a learning point?
There were definitely a few plays that I got wrong. For some reason, the idea of like sacking Breloom never crossed my mind, even when like Florges was down and Talonflame was asleep. Mon was expendable, and I don't know, it's like it just like didn't occur to me that I could just sack that Mon instead of taking damage on other things. So yeah, I guess like being more aware of my pieces is something I got to take from that, because it really didn't even occur to me. I don't know why. And then there were just a few plays like Joey pointed out. I could have volt switched on in like the very end of the game against Roaring Moon just to get that little bit of. I just thought Air Slash would kill, and like that was a bit of a mistake there.
Yeah. I mean, we all have those moments, and the little things, can really come back to bite you at the end of the day. But it's always nice to be able to kind of reflect as to what you can have, and it sounds like you have a really good idea of kind of where it went wrong. So I'm super looking forward to seeing what you have in store for the rest of the season. Obviously, you've been a dominant force in Draft League, especially in Gen 8. I know you had some deep runs into the semifinals of a lot of leagues, and I'm really hoping that you can have another one here in the PPL. So thank you so much for explaining everything, and I'm super happy to have you here on the PPL little interview channel. As for you, Lars, I know you said in your draft analysis that this is a championship team. You drafted the championship team, and you put that out there in that first video. After this week 1 win, do you think that's plausible, and how far can you take the momentum of this win?
Yeah, I think that it's for sure plausible. I think that what made the game so close was not a mistake of the team. That was a mistake, not from me in play, because the play went very well, but in prep. That's what I made mistakes in prep, which forced me to awaken my third eye and basically try to that way win the game. The main thing is, guys, do what Mountaih did and bring mons which are guaranteed faster than the opposing Terra captains, so you're not reliant on mons living to revenge kill it. Or if you have one, don't let it be put to sleep. And then they will have a better time versus your opponent. That's my mistake that game, and my sage advice for all the upcoming draft players out there.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's always nice to hear some wonderful advice, especially from a draft league veteran like yourself, Lars. I know you've been around for a very long time, and we're really happy to have you here on PPL. Super looking forward to the rest of your season going forward. And like I said, you put it out there. If this is a championship caliber team, I hope you can back that up with a deep playoff run. I'd love to see a rematch between you and Mountaih in the final. I think that'd be a wonderful marquee matchup, upset a lot of the big dogs in the league. I think that could be a great time. As for the rest of this video, that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not already, please go check out Lars. He is on his way to 3K. If you haven't already, check out Mountaih. He's on his way to 1K. Both you guys make way better content than the subs you have. Let's be realistic here. You're phenomenal creators on the platform, and I'm super looking forward to seeing the rest of your careers pan out here on YouTube and in the Draft League. If you are new to the PPL channel and you want to see more analyst content, please leave a like down below. Click subscribe, bell notifications on. You don't want to miss anything that we have coming up here. And if you enjoyed me blabbering along and having a wonderful conversation with these two lovely gentlemen, my name is DDubble. You can just call me Del. You can catch me in the next one. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.